just like to add a couple of points, I think the one negative effect what has taken on the employee is the psychological imbalance. And that's, I think, taken a very heavy toll. So I think if you talk to any of the employees, within my organization, my team, so 90% of them are reluctant now to come to the office. And whenever they have been told to come to the office, somewhere or the other, last 2 years of sitting at home and giving a comfort level to them makes them feel that work from home is the best opportunity. I was just hearing one of the speakers saying about, I think it was said by you itself, that today employees are not having job, but I come up with a resignation, and rightly said. They said within 1 month we'll get a job. Why to wait for 3 months also? So I think the negative trend, what I would just like to put on is only one factor, and that is the psychological imbalance. I think that has to be rectified. I think the 5G networks, I think it's on the offhand now. But when you talk about the 5G networks, what we are talking, I think there are a lot of issues which has been discussed at the government level, at the corporate level, and at the root level also. I think one of them, I think, before we talk about, the software or a security, I think it's all been debated even at the health sector, that how the effect of these 5G networks will be on the human being as such. So that's one part of it. The second part of it, if I look from the 5G networks, I think, within our nation, since I work in the investigation team, so what I find across is that we are too young to adapt to 5G network because our basic cyber hygiene practice is too poor, is extremely poor. We may talk about the best of the technologies, but when we talk about the implementation of it, I think there's a lot of question which is still in the mind of the common people. And when we talk about the technology, I think we should not talk about the technology only for a certain class of people. I think when the technology is being implemented and used at the root level, then we could say that that technology is rightly put into use. Summing up the point, I feel that rather, looking at the 5G network, looking at the aspect of it, how it will all the way, groom the development of the nation, I feel that the hygiene practices have to be built up before actually we talk about the 5G and the associated security with it.
Mrs.
See, we are talking about cyber security, but then cyber security is the defense. So we talk about it as the first step. But mostly I work in the post-mortem when the breach has taken place. So I think 2021, between 2020 and 2021, we'll say that the cyber crimes have increased exponentially. And especially during this COVID time, work from home, I would say there is no single vertical which has not been affected. If you see from the financial domain, I have received n number of cases, at least about, if I just count across, 30 to 40 cases of dabba trading. Then there are a lot of cases related to ransomware. One of them is from the hospital, not even one, but there have been certain critical cases from the hospital where data has been encrypted of COVID patients. And being Digital India, what we call, we don't maintain any registers, we don't maintain any log sheets, and the data, we are not able to get it back. We talk about cryptocurrencies, we talk about the dark web, we talk about the deep web. There's once again a huge, in fact, we are talking about one of the largest frauds in our country, which was in 2018, the quantum of the bitcoins. We are talking about 2,000 crore fraud. Now the ED has made from the 2,000 crore fraud to 20,000 crore fraud. Now what I mean to say is one of the domain, the financial domain, vastly affected. The second part is that we talk about the industry. We're talking about data theft cases have increased exponentially. And what I would like to say, since there are so many resellers over here, when you're giving up solutions, just don't tell about only about the security, which is a must, but tell them about the law and the governance associated with that. I think we are very poor in that. And because we are very poor, when people become victims, they come running and say that we did a big mistake of not having security in place. But you also tell them that if you don't have security in place, these are the legal ramifications which can take place. Let me also put on record, the conviction rate of cybercrime in our country is only 0.18%. Whereas the actual conviction overall I'm talking about is somewhere in the range between 15 to 17%. So what I would like to put up, and what my other panelist members are saying, the zero trust defense along with the governance is must in today's scenario. One is, I go with what he said, artificial intelligence, that's one. And I think most of them come from a technical, I also come from a technical background, but having a little legal orientation, AI is one. Number two, I think our Information Technology Act is 12 years old, and there's no amendment which is done in that. So when you talk about innovations, innovations also has to go with legal ramifications. So the time has come that our Information Technology Act has to be changed. And number three, which I just told some time before, awareness, and cyber hygiene practices to be made to understand for the common people. I think these three things, according to me, then only can talk about whatever the innovations and whatever the fulfillment we want as far as the technology is concerned.
That is true that if any organization, they don't follow any cyber practices, if any one of the employee can do any kind of mistakes, that owner will go to jail.
Yeah, if we have a provision, but then what happens is that, the provision is just on a piece of a paper. We have because just talking about technical won't do. I think we have to understand the legal ramifications also.
Yes.
So we have a provision, but then when I talk to any law enforcement agency or to the judicial agency, so which is the section? Where is the provision? So if that is the scenario, then I think what we are talking about, innovations, what we are talking about, technology influx will be just on a piece of a paper.
Yeah.
And I think that what you rightly said, the head of the organization, according to the law, is responsible, but now has to be made responsible in a practical sense. Then we will see that what we talk about technology revolution, what we talk about how the technology should help the people or the enterprise will be put into use.
Wonderful. We'll